Miss Woodfall, they've locked themselves in.
Betsy Ann, Caroline, stop that at once. Open the door. Philippa, go down to the office and bring up the spare key.
It's no good, Miss Woodfall. The key is in the lock on the inside.
Oh, dear.
I think we can force it.
Force it? How?
Break it down. Something terrible might be going on inside there.
Oh, very well.
Come on, girls. Harder. Harder.
Well, I'll try Ray Penny. Good heavens. Caroline. Where's Betsy Ann?
Look, there's a letter. Hey. She's been kidnapped.
Kidnapped? Don't be so ridiculous. Caroline, what is all this?
Two men, they were wearing stockings over their heads. I woke up and they were in here. They've taken Betsy Ann.
Taken her where?
Out of the window. They left the note.
Betsy Ann Duran will be returned safely in exchange for £2,000 to be paid by her parents through you. Do not, repeat not, notify the police or else her life will be in danger.
God.
The money is to be taken
Give
to
me
the
that note. Girls, you ought to go straight back to your rooms.
At
once.
Please, Miss Woodfall.
What are you going to do, Miss Woodfall?
That's enough. Philippa, you go and wake Lady Graffham. Caroline, you come with me, dear. The rest of you go straight back to your beds.
I was petrified. One of them had a gun. He kept waving it about. What are you doing?
I'm calling the police.
Police?
Hello, Exchange. I want the police.
But that note said that her life would be in danger.
I refuse to be intimidated by that type of threat.
Well, shouldn't we tell Lady Graffham first?
There's no time to be lost. Oh, hello. This is Graffham Park School. One of our young ladies has been abducted. Yes.
Gracious, Caroline, what's this Philippa tells me? What men?
Goodbye.
What did they look like?
They looked horrible with those stockings on their heads.
How did they get in?
I didn't hear them come in. But one of them had got hold of Betsy Ann. The other one attacked me.
Attacked you?
He put a gag over my mouth. I didn't have time to scream. Then he tied me up.
Do you think you could identify them?
Not with those stockings.
The police will expect you to try, Caroline.
The police?
Oh, yes, Lady Graffham. I sent for the police, of course.
A bit sharp off the mark, aren't you, Miss Woodfall?
They'll be here at any minute.
From what I know of the Graffham police, if they're here by dawn, it'll be a record.
Yes. Now, Caroline, you mustn't touch anything in your room and disturb the fingerprints.
I think we've had enough private eye for tonight, Miss Woodfall. Caroline, go and find Matron and ask her to give you a hot drink and an aspirin. You too, Philippa.
Yes, Lady Graffham. Good night, Lady Graffham.
Good night, my dears. Hello? I want to make a personal call to Mr. Carlos Varela of Mercury International. Pool of London, 6699. You'll call me back? Thank you. I'll take it in my room.
So, you managed to be the center of attention at last. You must be feeling very pleased with yourself.
That's just the sort of remark you would make.
Well, good night, dear.
Don't you want your cocoa and aspirin?
Don't be revolting. I'm going to have something a little stronger.
Mercury International here.
Oh, Carlos, I'm terribly sorry to wake you in the middle of the night, but something dreadful has happened.
Sorry, lady. This is Chin. Mr. Varela gone to New York. Mr. Landell in charge now. You hold on, please. I put you through.
Hello? What's the matter?
Lady Glapham on phone. Very old friend of Mr. Varela. She say very urgent.
Oh, but look, didn't you tell her he's awake? Couldn't it wait till Miss Carter comes in the morning?
Mr. Varela speak to her any time she call. She call all the time. Very special friend. I put you through now.
No, Chin, don't put her on. Oh, hello, Lady Grapham. Terribly sorry Mr. Varela's away. Is there anything I can do to help? My name's Randall.
Oh, Mr. Randall, one of our girls has been kidnapped, and they're asking for £2,000 ransom. I thought Mr. Varela ought to know, as he's one of the school governors, especially as she's the daughter of his great friends, the Van Durens.
Is that Van Duren, the Texas oil man?
Yes.
Well, what else did the ransom note say?
Not to call the police or her life will be in danger.
Yeah, well, don't call him. Don't do anything till I get there.
Owing to the over-exuberance of one of my staff, I'm afraid they have been called.
Well, you've got to stop them. Stall them somehow. Look, that girl's life may be in danger. You've got to stop the police. Now, don't do anything else till I get there. I'll be there straight away. Chin will probably know the way. Goodbye. Hey, Chin!
Coffee, boss?
Oh, there's no time for that. Come on, we're going to school.
Poker school?
No, Lady Grapham's finishing school for young ladies.
Much as I appreciate your enthusiasm, Miss Woodfall, I prefer to be consulted in emergency before you take action. In fact, don't take action at all.
I'm sorry, Lady Grapham, but without the police, what are we going to do about poor dear Betsy Ann?
We are going to do nothing, Miss Woodfall. In fact, I'm sure we are quite exhausted. Good night, Miss Woodfall.
Good night, Lady Grapham.
Careful, boss. Remember Chinese proverb. Better to arrive late than not at all.
Well, just lay off the Chinese proverbs and get some sleep. You might feel better when you wake up.
Oh,
Evening, milady. Or should I say good morning?
Marlowe, didn't you get my message? Well, I told the sergeant to tell you not to bother to call.
But the kidnapping, ma'am.
It was a false alarm. One of the girls playing a trick. I'm so sorry you've had to come all this way for nothing. I would ask you in for some refreshment, but it's so late, and you know how strict we are about late-night visitors here.
Oh, that's quite all right, ma'am.
Well, good night, Marlowe, and thank you.
Well, they don't seem to be so very strict about late-night visiting as all that.
No.
Mr. Randall?
That's right.
Oh, it's so good of you to come. Mr. Varela and I have been friends for so long, I couldn't think of anyone else to turn to.
Well, I only hope I can be of some help. Do you think someone from the school is involved in this?
The kidnapping? Oh, certainly not. But imagine that stupid woman, Miss Woodfall, ringing the police. She'll have to go.
Well, maybe she didn't realize the danger.
She never even asked me. If I hadn't managed to put them off the scent, the papers would have been plastered with this scandal.
Does Mr. Varela know the girl personally?
Very well. He arranged for her to come here. Her father's an old friend of his. In fact, he asked Carls to keep an eye on her while she's out of the country.
I see.
Oh, here. Now, there's something about this that makes me think there's more to it.
You mean it's not a kidnapping?
Oh, there's been a kidnapping, all right. She's gone, but... Well, somehow I find it very difficult to believe in it.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, Betsy Ann is no babe in the woods. She's a tough 19. Please, sit down.
Lady Grapham, in America, they could kidnap the world's heavyweight champion. If it came to a showdown, his strength wouldn't help him.
Well, read that, and you'll see what I mean.
Yes, there's something amateurish about it. The money, for one thing, £2,000. They ought to know who they have. Her father would pay 10 times that much. Still, we can't take any chances. We must follow these instructions to the letter.
You mean we have to carry out this ridiculous expedition to Grapham Churchyard?
That's right, I'll do it myself. Whereabouts are her parents now?
Cruising somewhere in the Pacific. I haven't a clue how to contact them.
I'll have Miss Carter get in touch with the bank. We'll need the money for the ransom.
Oh, but it's not your responsibility.
Now, since the girl came here on Carlos's recommendation, I don't think there'll be any problem.
All right. If you think it's as urgent as that.
No, we can't take any chances. What are you going to tell your staff and the rest of the girls?
As little as possible. I thought it better to play the whole thing down, go on as though nothing had happened. That way there's less risk of anyone talking outside.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. One thing we don't want is the police finding out there's a kidnapping. Once they start investigating, the kidnapper might panic. I wouldn't give much for Betsy Ann's chances then.
Do you think it's as serious as that?
No, a kidnapper's the worst kind of criminal there is.
Then what's to stop them collecting the money and killing her anyhow?
Well, unless we force them into something desperate, I don't think they'd kill a goose with an unlimited supply of golden eggs.
You mean they won't let her go? They'll want more money.
They might do that if they knew who the Van Durens are. On the other hand, if they don't know who she is, why pick on her?
Maybe they're not what you call big-time operators. Perhaps they know that any girl who can afford to come here must have money.
Well, it says in this note that they want the £2,000 by 3 o'clock today. I'd better call Miss Carter and make arrangements to collect the money.
1,800, 1,900, £2,000.
I hope your boss doesn't mind us looting his private bank account without telling him.
Never mind, it's in a good cause, so he'll approve.
Ah, thanks, Jim. Well, I hope they let the girl go.
I don't think even a kidnapper would want to keep Betsy Ann for long. She's a real souse in the mouth.
Bit of a handful, huh?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Well, come on, we better get going. The sooner we get this money paid over, the less chance there is of getting the police called in. Come on, Chin.
Aren't you forgetting something?
What's that? Oh, yeah.
You can't walk into a village churchyard with just an envelope. It'll look too suspicious.
Yeah, you're probably right. Here we are. The ideal thing.
They're too small and too tired.
Well, how about this? Roses and carnations.
Here you are. My favorite flowers.
Oh, I'll bear it in mind.
You do that. Be careful.
Hey, boss! I don't like this place. Suppose no one comes. Maybe they know we're here. If they are kidnappers, boss, they may carry guns. Souped up imp.
Yeah, a souped-up driver. A real professional. Never mind, we'll get him. Just to be on the safe side, though, we better remember that number. AGN 214. This is ridiculous. He's leaving us behind.
Better be left behind than alive in Hully at Hall of Noble Ancestors. Him crazy good driver.
Yeah, crazy's the word. I'll leave this to me, Jim.
In a hurry, aren't you, sir?
Oh, not particularly, officer.
It was all we could do to keep up with you. Do you know what speed you was doing?
Well, not exactly.
Between 85 and 90.
Oh, I'm sorry, but we've just got this car. We just thought we'd try it, see what it could do.
I see, sir. And what about the other car?
What other car?
The car you was racing.
We weren't racing.
I mean, perhaps we were going fast. Perhaps the other car decided to go faster and made it look as if we were racing.
Did you happen to notice what sort of car it was?
I did.
Are you sure, Chin?
Oh, yes, I noticed. Most peculiar number first. 999.
Thank you, sir. Can I see your license, please? Thank you. Well, sir, now you know what your car will do. Perhaps you'll keep the speed down a little. You might hurt somebody.
Sure, sorry. Won't happen again.
That other car looked very like a souped-up imp to me. And those two were the night birds round at the girls' school at 3 o'clock in the morning.
The car is registered in the name of High Speed Motors Limited. Here's the address.
High-speed motors. They're not kidding. Who's the actual owner?
The motor vehicle company don't know. Registering a car in the name of a company is very common. It's a tax fiddle. You ought to know.
Thank you. Well, it shouldn't be too difficult to find the real names. They'll be on file at Somerset House.
Then why don't I go down there and get the names then?
You do that.
Deportment. How to plan dinner party. Much better would be to learn how to cook dinner, huh?
Ah, Chin, you don't understand. Finishing school is a status symbol. It's where wealthy people send their daughters to meet the right sisters and the right brothers. Betsy Ann probably wants to marry a duke.
Duke's not doing so good lately. Lending castles, lending restaurants.
Yeah, well, we won't be doing too good either if we don't find Betsy Ann soon. Let's get down to Grantham Park. I'd like to talk to one or two of those girls again. That might be something I overlooked.
If that's possible. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Of course.
Sit down. Having good manners means having consideration for other people's feelings. Thank you, dear. May I remind you of one or two points I made in our last talk together? It is so often kinder not to say what one thinks. More often than not, people don't wish to hear the truth, especially when they ask for it.
You mean it's good we should tell lies?
Oh, what a crude word. The truth, my dear Philippa, is relative. Not telling the truth is by no means the same thing as telling a lie. For example, it just comes to my mind, take the situation existing here at Grantham Park. The poor unfortunate Betsy Ann has been kidnapped. Now, one of two courses is open to us. Either we notify the police, invite the most unwelcome type of publicity, put the poor girl's life in danger and cause unnecessary worry to her parents, or we observe a discreet silence, comply with the terms of the ransom, and get Betsy Ann safely back with the minimum of fuss and danger.
I see. So if the police come snooping round, we act dumb, pretend we know nothing.
Not pretend, dear. You do know nothing. You were not there, were you?
But I was there, Lady Grantham.
Of course you were, my dear Caroline. But the men were so heavily masked and it was so dark. You couldn't possibly identify them, could you?
Well, I don't suppose I could.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, do come in, Mr. Randall. I'll be with you in a moment. Thank you, girls. Now remember what I told you, and especially you, Caroline. Run along and tell Miss Woodfall you're ready for deportment. This way, Mr. Randall. Thank you, girls. That will be all. Dismissed.
I take it that Betsy Ann hasn't returned.
We've heard nothing from her.
I was afraid of that.
Do you think we should call the police?
No, I'd like to talk to some of the girls first.
I don't know how they could help.
Well, you never know. Something may have been overlooked. No, thank you. Anyhow, it'll do no harm to question them again.
And 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, hold your backs nice and straight, arms relaxed and tummies in, wear a smile but not a grin, and 9 and 10.
Sorry to interrupt you, Miss Woodfall. Pick up your books, girls. I don't remember Miss Woodfall telling you to stop.
You may stop, girls.
Thank you, Miss Woodfall. Now, girls, there are one or two questions that Mr. Randall would like to ask some of you.
Any time.
So I hope you will cooperate and help him as much as you can.
It'll be a pleasure.
Thank you.
Now, Caroline, go with Mr. Randall and tell him all you know about the kidnapping. Please continue, Miss Woodfall.
Thank you, Lady Grantham.
Watch it.
Carry on, girls. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Eyes ahead, not on the floor. 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Keep your backs nice and straight.
men came in at that window. They took Betsy Ann out that way.
Yeah, they must have climbed up by this creeper. They couldn't have stood much weight. Well, you can see where it's all pulled away from the wall down here.
One of them was just a little skinny fellow.
And the other one?
Oh, he was bigger. He was the one that carried her off. The other one tied me up.
Did you notice anything else about them?
Nothing special.
Did they speak?
No, they didn't say a word, not a single word. That's what made it all the more frightening. They worked silently, with those stockings over their heads. They were here when I woke up, and they tied me up with stockings, too.
Yes, I am fairly clear about that part of it. Have you got a recent photograph of Betsy Ann here?
Yes, this one. It was taken 2 or 3 weeks ago. She gave it to me.
Could I hold on to this? It could be useful.
Of course.
Thanks. I think we'd better look at that escape route from outside. You say this big fellow carried her over his shoulder?
Yes.
It's a wonder that the trellis didn't give way.
Well, perhaps they had a ladder.
Yeah, perhaps. Still, there's no sign of a ladder here. Carolyn, what kind of friends did Betsy Ann have? What was she really like?
Oh, she's a wonderful girl. My best friend. The best friend I've ever had. But she didn't have many friends outside the school.
Really?
No, I knew lots of the girls go out all the time, meeting boyfriends and staying out late. But we never bothered.
Well, why not? I mean, you're both very pretty.
Well, Betsy Ann said that there'd be plenty of time for that later, when we'd finished here. She said that she'd come here to learn from Lady Graffham, and that if she was fortunate enough to have parents who would spend all this money, then the least she could do was to work hard and not waste time on boyfriends.
Where did she keep her wings?
Oh, go away.
Do you believe that?
Oh, well, I...
Then you'd believe anything.
Don't pay any attention to her. She's terribly jealous of Betsy Ann. She always has been. And if she says anything at all to you, you mustn't believe her. She spreads rumors with no foundation. She tells lies.
Sure. Thanks, Carolyn. You've been a great help. Now, if you'll excuse me. Oh, Philippa.
Who, me?
Yes, I wonder if I could ask you 1 or 2 questions.
Not if I have the answers. But I warn you, I give you no rosy picture of Betsy Ann.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Okay. But just forget what Caroline told you. I'll give you the lowdown. The lowdown.
Look, I wonder if we could go someplace else to talk, somewhere private.
I was hoping you'd ask.
Yes, I thought that I could maybe drive you down to the village for tea.
Tea? If there's one thing I loathe, it's tea.
Oh, coffee?
But how about dinner?
The dinner? Well, if you can get permission from Lady Graffham,
Permission? You cute old square. Nobody asks permission in this place. She doesn't need to know.
Oh.
Hi.
Miss Brown, the usual table, miss? This one. Usual table, miss.
Oh, thank you, Luigi. The Patty Maison's very good here, Aura. Don't I rate that?
No caviar?
If you insist.
Champagne, of course.
Match.
Any particular year?
Heidsieck 53.
Heidsieck 53.
Well, why do you think our parents send us to Lady Graffham? To retard our natural development.
Oh, she's doing a great job.
Fab, isn't it? Real glam.
Yes, real glam.
Oh, come on, let's twist.
Is this part of the curriculum?
Are you kidding? Lady Graffham would have the vapors.
You mean she doesn't know?
Of course not. She always tells us that the essence of good manners is consideration for others. Now, we wouldn't want to embarrass her, so we don't tell her.
That's very considerate of you.
Isn't it?
Ring-a-ding-ding!
Don't any of you girls ever stay in at night?
1 or 2.
Like Carolyn and Betsy Ann.
Oh, please, they're not real you.
Not you?
Non-you, slummers.
Where do you slum in this fashionable part of the world?
Oh, you really aren't with it. Here, let me explain. Our beloved school is situated to cater for all tastes. Here is Graffham Park. Here is Goodwood. Now, for those of us who like horses, here's a course. Down there's a motor racing track. That's what I meant by the slum area. For those who find pleasure in petrol fumes and gents with dirty paws.
And Carolyn and Betsy Ann belong to this group.
How clever, Bill. May I call you Bill? You're not listening. What's on your mind if it isn't a leading question?
Motor racing and people who drive fast cars. That's a great help. There's nobody here.
Of course not.
You mean you knew?
Oh, yes.
Then why didn't you tell me?
Boss not ask. Goodwood Trophy finish. Land's Hatch trials this week. All drivers go there.
How do you know? Don't tell me. You
I have a cousin.
Who's a racing driver?
Certainly not. Is engineer. Chief mechanic to Lotus Flower team. Belong to famous Prince Kindat. He at Land's Hatch now.
Okay, we go to Brands Hatch to talk to this cousin of yours. Come on.
Ling! Chen! Ling, you old Lasco. Good to see you. How is Ting?
Very well.
And Tong?
Fine, fine.
His twins. Lovely boys. Sorry, boss. Got carried away.
Oh, I understand. Long time no see, Ling.
Honorable boss, honorable cousin. Ling, we come to ask for your esteemed assistance.
You honor me.
You know everybody in racing world.
Most, yes.
Do you know this girl?
Yes, I know. She now racing motorist. She hire on. I say all the time, Goodwood.
What do you know about her?
Nothing. She's not interested in racing. She's interested in boys.
Any one boy in particular?
One boy very particular. Young Chipsy Kirby.
Chips Kirby? What's he like?
Very good driver. Good engineer. Will go a long way. You watch 2-3 years, he'll be like Sterling Mouse. He has special technique in cornering. When he come into a corner...
Quite. Is he a nice guy?
Seem nice boy.
Ling, answer me straight. You think this boy could commit a bad crime?
Did he pinch motor car?
No, he pinched girl. Kidnap.
No. Oh, not interested in girls. Interested in cars.
And money?
Everybody interested in money. Look, that's him. Good driver. Nice boy. You talk to him. He now kidnapper.
Mr. Kirby.
That's right.
My name's Randall. I represent Mercury International. At the moment, we're very interested in the motor racing situation in South America. We've been trying to get in touch with you for some time. I've got a proposition to put to you, Mr. Kirby. But it's nothing firm, of course. And at the moment, I should like it to be strictly confidential.
I quite understand.
Is there anywhere down here where we could talk in private?
There's my trailer.
Well, fine, let's go.
Well, that might be a little bit awkward at the moment.
Mr. Kirby, what I have to discuss could be very important to you.
You know how it is. I've got a lot of equipment and stuff hanging around there.
I see. Oh, Mr. Kirby, you're not tied up or anything, are you? I mean, would it be possible for you to leave the country at a moment's notice, for example?
If your proposition is going to give me the chance to race, I'll make sure I'm free to go.
Good. I've seen you drive. Quite frankly, I've been asking a number of people quite a lot of questions about you. You know, you're very highly thought of by the experts.
I'm glad to hear that.
You're not married, are you?
And why do you ask?
Oh, it's just that we'd prefer to engage a single man.
No, I'm not married.
Good. And I can always contact you here?
That's right.
Fine. Well, expect me about the same time tomorrow. I'll have a clearer picture of the situation then. I just needed to find out if you were interested.
I certainly am. Cheerio and thanks. Hey, Frank.
Check the plugs over there, seem all right.
You ask him if he kidnapped?
No, my approach was a little more subtle. I didn't want to scare him off if he is involved.
What you talk about?
I practically offered him a job as a racing driver in South America.
You going into that business, Mr. Landau?
I made it up on the spur of the moment. I had to get to know the man. I wanted to find out something about him.
I find out something about him.
What, from your cousin?
No. Come, I show you.
There you are. Super Pimp. AGN 214.
Yeah, this is the car, all right.
What you hope to find? Land some money?
No, that'd be too much to hope for. Just some identification of some kind.
Like what?
Like a letter to Mr. Kirby.
Just because this car is parked here doesn't mean it belongs to suspect number one.
Circumstantial evidence.
You know, Chin, all we need is a few more clues to clinch this case.
You'll find out where racing driver live?
No, he was cagey about that. He lives in a trailer somewhere. Can't be far away.
I borrow motorcycle from Ling.
What for?
Stay in hiding here and watch imp. When driver come back, I follow. Find out where he live, then report back here.
All right. I got a phone call to make to Miss Carter. By now she should know who owns this high-speed motor company. Then we'll know for certain who owns this imp. This is the right place?
Oh, yes. I follow him all the way. Behind hut, you find him.
I've told you before, I won't do it. You're really going to make a lot of trouble for yourself.
Okay, Betsy, let's just drop it.
Hey, that sounds like Betsy Ann's voice.
What I tell you. We find kidnapper, all right.
She doesn't sound very kidnapped to me.
Must be.
Look, he said that he lived in a trailer. Now, who lives in a hut?
Maybe more kidnappers, huh?
No, it looks like some of Betsy Ann's things in there. The hut must be for her.
And trailer for kidnappers.
I guess I made the greatest mistake of my life, Chips. You think you can push me around just the way you like.
I'm not pushing you around. I just think it's best for you to go back to Grafton Park.
How dare you say that, after all I've risked for you?
I don't think you're happy here.
I could be happy here, if you weren't such a jerk. All you care about is racing.
I thought you cared about racing, too.
Sure, I care about racing, but not just racing. All you think about are cars. You never think about me.
Now listen, Betsy Ann, let's be reasonable.
Reasonable? Look, you encouraged me to come down here. Now you expect me to spend all my time in that other trailer of yours while you go racing round and round that crummy track. What sort of an elopement is this anyway?
I didn't ask you to elope.
Oh, yes, you did. And I should have had more sense than to listen to you.
Well, look here, the whole thing was your idea. I thought you were absolutely gone on motor racing like me.
Well, sure I am, but there's a limit to everything.
Well, you said you wanted to help me with my experiment. I told you I'd be up to my neck with trials for the car. I've got a lot of work to do on the imp.
Work to do? On that little motorized pram?
Why don't you just pack your things and let me take you back to the school?
I'll go when I'm ready to go.
If you really love me, you'd try to understand the way I live. And the imp isn't a toy. It's an experimental prototype. I've put all my savings into it. My whole future depends on that.
Well, my future doesn't.
Hey, Betsy!
Oh, drop dead!
Betsy!
Mr. Kirby.
Oh, it's you. Are you following me?
Well, no, not exactly.
I thought I told you I didn't want to see you here.
Yes, you did. I'm beginning to understand why.
Oh, you are you? Are you trying to make trouble or something?
It seems to me you're in a little trouble already, Mr. Kirby.
Just what do you mean by that? Has this Chinaman anything to do with you?
He is.
I saw him follow me on a motorbike as I drove down here. I don't like being spied on, Mr. Randall. I think you better move out of here, both of you, right now.
Look, I came to have a talk with you, Mr. Kirby.
I said move!
Take it easy.
All right.
You know, Mr. Kirby, if you'll forgive me saying so, for a professional race driver, your nerves are...
What's the imp?
Hey, Betsy Ann!
Let kill me, so kill herself!
I've got my car.
It's got to hold on the road for 2 minutes! That imp has got the engine of a racing car under its hood. 6 months' work gone down the drain. Oh, come on, get after her. I've got all my savings tied up in that car. Just look how she's driving that car. She'll ruin it.
Betsy Ann! Are you all right?
Just dandy. The world looks a lot better this way up.
The car. And just look what she's done to the car.
That's all you care about, isn't it?
Hey, Betsy Ann, you're shivering. Yeah, get that rug. Let's get you to bed. Call a doctor. I'd better take you back to the caravan. Come on.
You come, Mr. Chips.
Come in.
You wanted to see me, Lady Graffham?
Yes, Philippa. Sit down. There is a chair, dear. I have here a letter from Victor Frey.
He's written to you? Gee, what a nerve.
Even dressmakers expect to be paid, eventually. And as you don't reply to his letters...
What for? I can't pay him. I haven't got the money.
He says here that unless you pay within 7 days, he will write to your father.
Lady Graffham, could you possibly lend me the money just till the end of term?
Certainly not. Even if I had £276, 10 shillings to spare, I would be failing in my duty towards you if I encouraged this ridiculous and irresponsible extravagance. If you wish to become a civilized human being, you must learn to control your own finances. I'm afraid you'll have to cope with this yourself.
But Lady Graffham...
No, Philippa, I'm sorry. You'll have to work it out for yourself. Learning to deal with one's creditors is as much a part of one's higher education as learning not to serve claret with oysters.
But Lady Graffham, it'd only be a loan.
You may go, Philippa.
Police, please. Claret and oysters.
And I perhaps you'd like to tell me where you fit into all this.
Well, it's quite simple. I was looking for Betsy Ann. See, Lady Graffham is a friend of mine. Naturally, she was very worried. She didn't know that this kidnapping wasn't real.
Kidnapping? What kidnapping?
Well, the one that you and Betsy Ann staged.
Oh, not me, chum.
Well, what about the ransom note?
Ransom note? What ransom note?
Well, one asking for £2,000.
You're kidding.
Look, didn't you come into her room late at night with a stocking mask over your head and tie up her roommate?
Just what do you take me for? I was waiting for her in the car, in the yard. Hey, she climbed over the trellis. She's caused me nothing but trouble ever since I got here. She complains every time I'm working. And I've got to work, Mr. Randall. I'm really onto something with this new engine I've got in the Imp.
Look, who drives that Imp besides you?
No one until tonight. Why?
Well, it must have been you who drove to the churchyard to collect the money with someone else.
With Betsy Ann. She told me she was going there to pick up a message from a chum. But she didn't say anything about any money.
I can believe that. It's obvious that she wasn't abducted against her will. But she is only 19. That is going to make it difficult for you.
But she told me she was over 21. Oh, why did I ever get mixed up with all this? To be honest, Mr. Randall, I never wanted it to go this far. I rented her the other hut as soon as I saw she was determined to stay. I don't know why she was so determined. I should never have agreed. She's not used to the life. I thought she wanted to race. She said she loved cars. But ever since she's been down here, she seemed to hate them.
How is she, Doctor?
Well, the young lady's been very lucky. I've given her a light sedative.
How soon will I be able to take her back to school?
Oh, whatever you like. She can travel. And as soon as she gets to her own bed, the better. I'll call in there and see her tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Doctor.
And remember, young lady, you may not be so lucky next time.
Thank you, Doctor. Bye now.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I really am sorry to have caused so much trouble.
You can say that again. Nice mess you got me into.
I'm sorry, Chips.
What'd you do with the money?
I put it somewhere. Oh, I know. It's in this helmet here.
Welcome back to Papa.
I really am sorry.
It's a bit late for sorry. But don't worry, I'll do the right thing.
Right thing? What's that?
I'll marry you, of course.
Marry? Me?
What's so funny? I thought you wanted me to marry you.
I wouldn't marry you if you were the last person on earth. Besides, it'd be bigamy. You're already married.
I'm married?
Yeah. She's got 4 wheels and she smells.
Dr. Chips?
It was smart of you to find me, Mr. Randall. Or did somebody tip you off?
No, I did all the sleuthing myself.
I bet Caroline squealed.
Oh, no, she played her part very well, unfortunately. You've got a loyal friend there.
Oh, she didn't do it for love. She's just dumb.
You know, there's one thing that puzzles me.
Yeah?
I can understand you falling in love and running away, but why the ransom note?
Well, I had to have some spending money, didn't I? I knew Chips didn't have any. Besides, I was going to give it back to my father afterwards.
That's the car that was round at the girls' school that night. After it.
Right.
I can't tell you how grateful I am to you for rescuing me from Chips. It was such a mistake. He's a real square. I really prefer mature men. Gosh, my head's beginning to ache now. I feel kind of woozy. It must be that stuff that doctor gave me. You don't mind if I rest my head on your shoulder, do you?
No, help yourself.
Hate to bother you, but... Oh, really, I am sleepy. Hey, what did that doctor give me?
Afternoon, sir.
Hello again.
What's the matter?
I think I know this young lady.
It's Miss Betsy Ann Duran.
Are you all right, miss?
Oh, leave me alone. I just want to sleep.
I wonder if you could tell me what's wrong with her, sir. She looks to me as though she were drugged.
Well, it's true in a sense. She's had a sedative.
Sorry to trouble you, sir. I wonder if you'd mind if I searched you.
Now, look, officer, I'm not a criminal. I mean, I don't carry a gun or anything.
If you don't mind, sir. Is this yours?
Yes, it is.
Mind if I look?
I'll be my guest.
It's rather a lot of money, if I may say so, sir.
Look, I know what you're thinking, but you're making a mistake. Yeah, wake up, Betsy Ann. Wake her up, she can explain.
Won't wake, sir.
I wonder if you'd mind coming with us, sir.
Now, look, that money's mine.
Very good, sir.
But I can prove it. Look, Betsy Ann, when you wake up, you can sleep at school.
If it's yours, sir, then you've got nothing to worry about, have you?
Look, if you don't believe me, ask Lady Graffham. She'll tell you the truth, I think.
If you'll just come in the other car, sir.
Oh, all right. But take me to the school first. Under arrest if it makes you feel any better. And ask Lady Graffham.
That's not the customary procedure.
A better uncustomary procedure than customary false arrest. Mr. Landau, very important man.
All right, then. Harry, you take Mr. Randall with you. I'll go with a Chinaman.
Well, for heaven's sake, where did you come from?
Feeling better, miss?
Oh, fine. Yeah, I feel fine. Hey, you're a real policeman. I've always wanted to meet a British policeman. I think you're just wonderful.
Where's Lady Graffham?
In her study. What's the matter with Betsy Ann?
Can't wake her, missy.
But what's happened to her? Where's she been?
She been in accident. She'll be okay.
What sort of an accident? My poor dear child.
At last. I expected you ages ago.
We got you as quickly as we could, ma'am. After we caught him.
Caught them? But I've told you before, Marlowe, there's been no crime.
Lady Graffham, kidnapping is considered a very serious crime.
But there's been no kidnapping. It was simply a childish prank.
You're quite sure about this, Lady Graffham? The girl was drugged,
She was given a sedative by a doctor after a car accident. If you like, I can give you his name and address.
Maybe. But you aren't going to deny that you had the ransom money on you at the time of the arrest?
No, I don't deny that.
But it's his own money.
It's what?
It's Mr. Randall's own money. In a moment of crisis, he chipped in with £2,000. I should like to return it, if you don't mind, Inspector.
Thank you, Lady Graffin.
So there was no kidnapping. Then I'm truly sorry, sir. We made a mistake. Will you accept our apologies? Seems we were misinformed.
No, officer, you are not misinformed.
Betsy Ann!
I'm the only one who should apologize.
Now look, Betsy Ann. Everything is settled to everyone's satisfaction. There is no point in...
Oh, but there is. Well, I've been a thoughtless, selfish brat, and I really am ashamed of myself.
Everyone knows, Inspector, that this child is suffering from shock. Maybe she's just a little...
No, Rosemary, let her speak.
Mr. Randall.
Go on, Betsy Ann. You wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say how sorry I am.
What for, miss? As I see it.
Well, I did the kidnapping, Mr. Marlowe.
What?
Well, I faked it, and I left a note for the money. It was going to be mine in the long run. I realized how stupid I was. I was even a nuisance to Chips. So I guess you better arrest me. Oh. Oh.
Hey, she's right out. So, now you know, Inspector.
You don't expect me to listen to a delirious girl, Mr. Randall? That sort of evidence would never stand up in court. A joke's a joke. Good day, ma'am. Good day.
Oh, thank goodness for Marlowe. Now, Bill, we must get her up to bed. Can you carry her up?
I can try.
I'll call Matron.
Oh, don't worry. I'll look after her. After that confession, I've got quite a soft spot for Betsy Ann.
Well, thank goodness she was genuinely sorry. Marlowe would have been very tough if he'd thought she'd been joking. Well, that's the way we train our girls at Graffham Park. Always the right word at the right time.
Oh, absolutely right, Lady Graffin. Absolutely right.